Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Here is your fun fact of the day. The Song of Songs in the Bible, also known as the Song of Solomon, because he's mentioned pretty constantly throughout the book, remains singular and completely on its own within the Old Testament for two reasons. First of all, it's completely poetic. For people who think the Bible is nothing but a history of an angry God punishing his people over and over and a whole lot of laws to live by that make your life miserable, clearly haven't actually examined the fact that there is an entire book of the Bible that is just a poem, and not just a poem. It's singular again for the second reason of its subject matter. It is a poem decently explicitly about marriage and love between the man and the woman. The frank discussion of love between the married couple, really. The Song of Solomon's willingness to broach physical intimacy made people so uncomfortable throughout history that even 1,000 years after its writing, it still needed to be defended as a necessary and good part of Jewish canonical scripture. After Christ even, AD 90, there was a council that brought this up again. It's like, do we actually need this? And it still needed defense then, over 1,000 years after it was written. By their wisest king they ever had even. They still weren't sure about it. That's how uncomfortable this made them. But as a testament to the beauty of the setup that God has arranged for marriage, Song of Solomon is thoroughly unrivaled and stands out with a uniquely detailed version of beautiful reality. The beauty of this is even really in many, if you take culturally comparables, rivals Shakespeare as far as its poetry and just how well it sets up this scenario. And for a bit of theatrics. Some parents have joked about how they want their children to read the Bible, all except for Song of Solomon, which is a bit ironic because there's actually a verse specifically in the book that says, "Do not awaken love before its time." Usually translated more along the lines of, don't force yourself into intimacy of physical, emotional, or otherwise until it's good, until it's even a necessity, which would be basically right before you get married. This doesn't mean you immediately attach yourself to every person who walks by. It's that sort of warning. This book is not nearly about sex as much as some would have it be, or as some think it to be. There are sexual references. There is obviously the claim that God endorses sex in marriage through this book. And we see one version of a healthy marriage in this book, but there's a lot more to this intimacy than just physical. I encourage you to examine the 8 chapters from a analytical perspective, not an inspirational perspective, to see exactly what it means. You might want to bring along a commentary too to help keep yourself detached from some of its themes, and just to help yourself analyze it for what it is. Thank you for joining me for this fun fact of the day. See you again soon.